Yeah, I like that. Hi guys, it's Mac.
And it's Blair.
Yeah, with 9B from the family, and here we're going to sit down with you today. We want to talk about some trending topics, some hot topics, and we got a really cool topic here, and it has to do with parenting. You know, we're a parent of soon to be 6. We have 4, 2 in the oven, so we're about to be 6. And so parenting is something that we think about a lot, and we think about different aspects of it, and we talk about it, and we figure we share some of those conversations with you. And recently, we found a really cool article that really makes you think. And I'll let Blair just kind of jump into this part.
Sure. So I'll just read the top lines from the article so you can hear what we're reading. I asked my son to contribute 20 pounds a week to the household before he goes to university, and he's livid. We're struggling financially, but was I in the wrong?
Yeah, this gets back to the whole aspect of should adult kids be paying towards expenses, and these are adult kids living at home, or should adult kids be paying rent? And I remember specifically for me how it was in my home. You know, my dad kind of led this conversation in our home where he told me, he said, "Son, I will never put you out. You could always stay here, but when you get grown," and we're going to talk about what get grown means, right? When you get to that point in life, you have to pay to live here. Like, you will have to contribute to the household. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. I can't remember specifically if he said I would have to pay rent or if I would have to just contribute to the household. So we're going to just summarize and say I would have to contribute to the household. And that was my understanding growing up. And I think that may be a critical point. Establish early on what your expectations are, and don't let your kid get to like 19 or 20 and then just spring it on them out the blue.
Right, and I think that communication is key. I came up under similar guidelines in my house where my mother told me after college, you're more than free to come back, live here. But if you come here, live here, I want you to contribute to the household. She specifically said I did not have to pay rent or something like that because I'm her child, but I did have to contribute. So that meant little things like, or not so little things like, if I see we need toothpaste, I need to go to the store and buy toothpaste and not just say we need toothpaste. But lately, the conversation has been going a lot deeper. It's been trying to go into, is there a certain amount that you would expect from your child? And
Well,
I don't.
Yeah, what were we going to say? What are your thoughts?
I don't think there's a certain amount. I think there is more of a respect for the household, respect for, are you contributing to the household? Like, did you wash the dishes? Did you pick up after yourself? Like, those kinds of contributions I think would go a long way. In addition to, like I said, if you buy paper towels or toilet tissue or things of that nature that everybody consumes, I think those would go a long way to the household, not necessarily rent.
Okay, but let's go back real quick, and I don't disagree with you, but let's go back to this because in this topic that you just defined here, the mother asked the son to pay 20 pounds a week, or if you're U.S., you could say $20 a week, roughly the same, for this conversation, and the child was livid. He was livid. And the mother asked the son to contribute $80 a month to family expenses. He was livid, but he earns 900 pounds a month. And he was getting ready to go to uni, but he earns money. So you have a child who is at the point in life where they're working. And should they contribute to the household? If they're living in a household, they're working, they're bringing in money. In this case, this mother said that they were financially struggling and she needed some money to help cover costs. And my thought, for me, expectation of a child, a son, a daughter, you're 18 years old, you're an adult legally, but you're budding into adulthood. Well, the real world comes crashing in on you pretty hard, right?
Right.
You as a parent, you create a bubble. I talked about this in a previous video. We talk about like what parents do is they create a bubble around that child. When your baby's born, they're first nuzzled into you right up there on your chest, and you have them, and from that point on, your objective as a parent is to keep your baby, keep your child in a bubble. But there comes a point, unfortunately, for some children whose bubble is burst earlier, and then for others, the children will be older. But around 18 years old, everybody's bubble pop. You're going to get exposed to the real world, because this same 18-year-old, if he's living anywhere else, he's going to pay. He's going to pay money. As soon as you move out the house, you're going to have to pay to live anywhere you live besides your mother's home.
And that's true. And then I looked at to me, thinking about how much he's earning a month, I would think that this would be a very doable action. That it should be, okay, I understand, I need to contribute. That's how I see it. Now, I just also said in the last breath, I wasn't expected to do these things until I was like fully graduated.
Graduated from
college.
From college.
From college, or for us, university.
So from uni, right? So
yes.
From uni, if you're using British terms,
yes.
From uni, from the U.S., you're from college. So 4 years of college, you graduate from college, you come back home, you're living with your mother, or your father, your parents, your family. The expectation is now you pay.
Yeah.
You contribute.
Yeah.
Mine was the same. And so as I think about it, we have children, right? So what is my anticipation for us and our children? My anticipation is the same, which is you don't pay until you graduate from college. Like if we are not in severe, dire financial straits, I mean, it would have to be bad, right? But if we're not in severe financial straits, because I would not want to put that burden on an 18-year-old.
Right.
Or a 19-year-old, because I want them to focus on
school
and on education, and not try to focus on paying for a household, right? And over contributing to a household.
Right.
All right. I saw an article recently. We don't have this one pulled up, and it was a 31-year-old, 31 years old. I presume is well in the workforce now, living at home. One parent wants them to pay rent, the other parent doesn't. Same principle. You have a 31-year-old child who's living at home, is not paying rent. I mean, at some point though, I think, as a parent, you owe it to the child to kind of give them the little boot.
Right.
Out the nest. You got to go. Right? And so to me, my understanding is that as I've been raised, it is at that age, if you're not contributing, and we'll figure out so at what age? If you're 30-some years old and you're living at home with your parents and you refuse to pay rent, you got to go.
Right. And I will say, like, I said what I said, and it was about, after I graduated from university. And that was true. So I forgot. My mom had 2 stipulations. I had to have a job, and I had to contribute to the household. She did not care what the job was. She just was like, you need to be contributing to society, to the world. Go get a job. So I got a job. If a 31-year-old has an issue with paying, you really don't need to be in my house. Like, and that's how I feel about it.
Yeah, yes, it's the kind of if you can't play by my rules, then you don't live in my home. Right. Then you have to go. I could definitely appreciate that. So I think for you and I, we're both in agreement, right? But I would have no anticipation of a 18-year-old who's just graduated from high school contributing to the household. But I've seen a lot of people who said their parents had them at 18. Bam, you're an adult.
Hard cut.
You're an adult, and if you're living in this house past your 18th birthday,
I've also heard
you're paying.
I've also heard it even being a hard cutoff for 18. So 18 in the States is usually when you graduate from high school, and for me, I turned 18 in January. And I wasn't graduated from high school yet. Like, that high school graduation doesn't happen until early to mid spring, summertime. So, but I've heard stories of people that they turned 18 and their parents were ready, they cut them off. And I'm like, that doesn't make any sense to me. What do you mean you cut them off? They haven't finished high school yet. Like, how are they supposed to survive, take care of themselves? What are they supposed to do?
Yeah, I'll just be honest with you. I mean, we may step on some toes here, but I feel as though if you are a parent and if your child is still in high school and they turn 18 and you kick them off or cut them off, you are a bad parent.
Yeah.
I don't consider
I
that to be a good parent. And I think that I will have a bit of the law on my side. How long can you carry them on your insurance?
At this point in the States, we can carry them up to 23.
Up to 23. That gives them time to get out of school, maybe go to trade school, go to college, and so forth and so on. And then, so I feel as though that's kind of the legal system of saying up to about 23, you can still support. But I think, for me, cutting them off at 18 is just, to me, a hard cut at 18 is
unimaginable.
Irresponsible.
Yeah.
But that's based off of my experience because my parents never did that to me. I graduated from high school. The hardest thing that happened to me, and I'm still traumatized by it, is that I graduated from high school on a Friday. And my dad worked at a chemical plant. And he'd gotten me a job. And I graduated on a Friday. And I got no time off. I graduated on Friday. And I was at work at that chemical plant on Monday morning. So I graduated on Friday. 7 a.m. Monday morning, I was at work. And I worked until I went to college. So I worked through the whole summer. But that month, no 2-week break. None of that. I graduated on Friday. Monday morning, I was there. And I worked through the summer till school started. And I did not work aside from RA stuff. I didn't have to carry like a full-time job through college.
Right.
My dad was really, really firm in the sense of, and I keep saying my dad. My mom was involved in these conversations, but my dad led a lot of these specific conversations. My mom had led other conversations. But, my parents were very firm about wanting to control that space of work. Like I did not work a job as a teenager. And they told us, and it was like, specific. I can remember very clear. My dad repeated this to me over and over. Son, you will have the rest of your life to work. There is plenty of time for you to work. I want you to have this time to just kind of be a kid, be a big kid, be a teenager and exist and not be worried about those things. But I have friends who did. I have friends who were 14, 15, as soon as they could. They were working.
And I was about to say that, like, our experiences are very different. I did work in the summer times when I was coming up. Like MacArthur was getting ready to say, in the States, you have to get a work permit when you're below a certain age. Your parents have to sign off and say that, yes, I allow you to work. But it's very limited hours that you're allowed to work on these jobs. And so mine was funny because it wasn't me that really wanted to work. It was my friend that was going to work, and she had these ideas and like, oh, we're going to get a job over here and we can go and do this and go and do that. And I was just like, oh, okay, sure, whatever. And I went home, I told my mom, and she was like, okay, because it gives you something to do during the summer. She had a very hard timeline. When school starts, you will quit. I do not care. You will quit. You're not working during the school year. You're not working through winter break. No, you're working only on the summertime. And so I didn't mind that. That wasn't a hard stipulation to me. And so I did it, and it was good for me because that opportunity allowed me to manage my money for the first time, earn money, make decisions about how I wanted to spend the money. And yeah, that was it. I mean, I bought little stuff for school. Like I remember I needed a calculator, so I bought a calculator.
I want to go back. Let me clarify. When I said I didn't work, my dad was tricky.
Yeah.
I worked on a farm. I grew up on a farm, so I didn't go out and get a job at McDonald's or Burger King.
You didn't work for a private employer.
I worked aggressively every single day on the farm when I was a teenager. My dad had a couple of side businesses, and I worked every day coming off from school.
Right.
I worked that. So I want to clarify. I don't want to get the impression that I was just sitting at home and everything was happy and free, and I didn't have any responsibilities. I had a lot of responsibilities. We had an active farm. We were managing a farm. We running a fertilizer business. We were running a lawn business. So Saturday mornings, I was working on all those activities and doing those things. And during the week, we were bagging fertilizer and those things. So I was working, but I wasn't working as, out when I was a teenager. So I could go back and easily say that the reason he was telling me, no, you're not going to work, is because he wanted to keep his labor at home. He wanted to keep labor at home. But I think that it goes back to that bubble philosophy of, as you grow up, your parenting style changes, right, and evolves. But as you're getting older as a kid, your parents are kind of starting to put holes in that bubble to put more responsibility
Right.
on you. But I
Right.
think that it starts at a much younger age. I
Yeah.
still go back and say, like for our kids now, they have chores.
Yeah.
They're starting to fold the clothes. Blakely's washing and folding and putting up clothes. They're
Yeah.
starting to manage clothes. She's recently learned how to, work with the dishwasher. And you would say, well, why do you have your kids doing that? There's 6 people in our home right now.
And even with
And they
for
need
me
to
and my
learn to
mom,
start being responsible.
right. And even for me and my mom, it was just me and my mom. So it was just the two of us, but I still had to wash the dishes. She did not care. She was like, wash the dishes.
Yeah, and the kids are starting to take responsibility for clothes. They're responsible to clean up their rooms.
Right.
And they don't always keep the room clean, but we're working on that.
We're working on that.
We're working on that, but I'm not cleaning their room. I didn't mess that room up.
Yeah.
I'm not going to clean it up.
Yeah.
And I think if you're raising your kids with this as they get older, and as you go down to Matthew, as the other kids are doing things, he's now, so when they're folding clothes, hey, Matthew, you can put those matching socks together.
Yeah.
So he gets to play a little matching game. All the socks get thrown over to him, and he's matching socks, and he's putting socks
Right.
together.
Right.
So he's 6. Everyone contributes.
Everybody contributes. Like when we have to do get ready for recycling or bin pickup, everybody has to go around and figure out, oh, I need to go get this, I need to go get that. Matthew, can you go get the bottles out of this room over here and put them in recycling? He comes to me, he said, Mommy, how can I help? What can I do?
And it's not
So-
it's not a hard thing, right? Because we're raising them, and the idea is that as they get older, they're going to take on more responsibility. And if you do this right,
Right.
when they get 18 and they're making this money,
They'll never.
they're going to come to you and say, Mom, do you need me to help? And then you're able to say, hey, a little bit can help, or no, I got it.
Yeah.
Take your money, set it aside for uni. Take your money, set it aside for that. Or, hey, 20 pounds a month
and
would be
save
really
it.
helpful
Or
to the household.
right.
Right. And I think so. I guess it's kind of that's our plan.
Yeah.
Right. That's how we're going
and
at it.
To us, it's about how you set that foundation to contribute to the household. Like at this point, me paying for my mother or paying for MacArthur's mother, that's what you do. They're your parents. You pay for them.
Yeah.
Why would I not pay for
Yeah,
them?
Blair's mom, when we go out, a lot of times she's tried to play. We got to eat dinner. A lot of times your mom has tried to pay for dinner. My mom knows better. She doesn't even try. She's like, "Yeah, I got you. Y'all got this." But your mom has tried to be like, why would you know? We don't need you to pay. We're taking you out to dinner. We wouldn't ask you to pay for
Right.
that. And, I feel like now we're in a position where we'll cover down on that. We'll pay
Right.
for the meals. We've even paid for plane tickets because for us
That's-
we want the grandmothers to be able to see the kids.
Yeah. Yeah. And
We
that's-
chose to move to the other side of an
yes.
ocean. Why should we put that
And this
financial
was-
burden on them?
This was even when we were
know?
in the States
Yeah.
that we did this. It was the same behavior. I came to see you, or I want you to come see me. Here's a plane ticket. Please come see me.
Yeah. And that's kind of how we do it. And again, look, everyone's a little different.
Right.
And I've talked to other people, and they don't do it that way. Some guys at work I was talking to recently, and it's like, no, why would I pay for my mother-in-law to come see us? They're her grandkids.
Right.
She's worked. She has a
Right.
job. If she wants to come see them, she could pay to come see them.
No.
Everyone does
Everybody does it differently.
Yeah, a little
And
differently.
This isn't new. This isn't surprising to at least for my family. It's not surprising. It's the same thing we did with my grandparents. Like if we wanted to see them, please come. We'll come drive you up. Tell me what date you want me to show up at your house. We'll come get you.
Yeah. And so, I mean, if you're financially able, then I think that there's a good way to kind of go about it. But back to the point of kids helping. So for us, the thought is, and for me especially, if you raise your kids, rear them to contribute from young all the way up. And also, I've already started having these conversations when we're talking about things. And as far as I've seen kids who like our kids, they're eating a bag of crisp, bag of chips, right? And they try to throw half of it away. I'm like, hold on, what are you doing? That costs money.
Right.
Right? I'm becoming. Remember the TV show Everybody Hates
Chris.
Everybody Hates Chris, and the dad was always
He could calculate
relating
how
everything
much.
back to cost, and I'm doing that with the kids. I'm like, whoa, what are you doing?
Right.
That costs money.
Yeah.
Is that dirty? Why is it in the dirty clothes? It costs money to run that washing machine, and I'm trying to help them understand like there is a financial cost to life.
Right.
And I tell like we have had this conversation numerous times, and you're like, oh, this is 11. We're talking to a 6-year-old. We're like, well, we work, so we get to provide this stuff for you. And it's it's not to put a burden on them, but it's to get them to understand like there is a pattern to life, and the pattern is that to have things to be able to support yourself, if you're able,
Right.
work. But the things in this home did not just magically appear. Things don't just come out of thin air. Like
Right.
they were purchased. We pay for those things. And like this, and I feel like if you raise your kids with that philosophy, understanding that there is a cost to life, there is an expense, so you want to create a bubble, but at the same time, you don't want it to be where kids have a lack of appreciation for the
Right.
level of effort that
Right.
you're putting in as a parent.
Right.
What are your thoughts?
No, I agree. So yes, we do try to make it aware to them that things have value and things have costs, but not so much that they feel stressed by what we're saying. Like, no, it's not a stress, but understand when you mistreat or you break something, it does not have to come back. Like, that's it.
Yeah. Yeah, if they break a toy,
No,
that's it. We don't go
buy
and
it.
we do not repurchase
We
that
do not.
toy. Oh, you broke your toy. Let me go get you a
No.
You broke it. We're not buying you another one.
Right.
And I feel like we're hoping that utilizing these principles that we're kind of talking about and developing is a way that when we get our kids to that point, they'll understand that they're the expectation. When I was in college, I would had opportunities and I would get money, refunds and things, money be returned to me. And I actually used to go home when I was in college and I would give my parents money. And that was choice. They never asked me for that. They weren't asking me for money. That was something that I felt, like I was, hey, let me go back and let me try to help. And it all depends, and I think it goes back to one, like how you're raised, what you're told, how you're brought up, and if you feel supported. And my thing was, I felt supported, so I didn't mind supporting. But I think parents also owe it to the kids to let them know you are being supported. You're living in this home. I am paying the electric. I am paying for the water. I'm paying for these things. So even if you're not asking your child for a financial contribution, kind of like what your mother said, okay, but what else can you do around here to help?
Right.
Can you mow the lawn?
Right.
Can you take out the trash?
Right.
Or can you help alleviate some of that burden
Right. And
on the parents who's doing all of those things?
Right. And it was nothing for my mom to be like, oh, you want to use the car? Sure, you can use the car. And then she would have like a list of things that I needed to do as well. Like, hey, I need you to run to the store and do this. And I need you to go get an oil change. And I need you to go. And she would do it. Okay, fine. I'm going to wherever it is that I wanted to go. And then I have these other things I have to do. That's fine. Or when that wasn't an issue or a concern, if I took the car, I knew I was going to put gas in it. I wasn't just going to bring it back.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, our kids
no.
are starting to collect money right now, and they don't have anything to spend it on because they're still young. So mostly it's piling up in piggy banks. There'll come a period in time when they'll spend more of that. But hey, guys, drop it in the comments. Let us know what you think
Right.
about this topic. I mean, that's how we feel about it. I think you and I are pretty much on the same page as far as expectations of our kids when they get to be 18 and 20, 25 and beyond. As you get to certain ages, there's a cutoff point. Not necessarily a cutoff point as you have to get out, but as you age up, the expectation increases. We're even talking to our kids about that for schoolwork and
Right.
expectations.
Right.
Like as you're getting older, I've said the phrase recently several times, you're not a baby anymore. You have to be a little more responsible for yourself. You have to start thinking about, did I get a jacket? Do I need a jacket?
Right.
And it's very simple, but the do I need a jacket turns into what do I need in life later on as I'm trying to make a decision, what I need to go into that. And that's the whole thing, like scaling it up.
Right, right. For me, I'm always talking to the kids about, hey, did you do your homework? Or when do you need to do your homework? Or when is it due? My son told me about 2 different assignments. One is due tomorrow, the other is due on Monday. Like, we have time for the assignment that's on Monday. Just do what's due tomorrow, and we'll worry about the other stuff later.
Yeah, I think like all of these decisions, the idea is that all of these decisions and the support comes together to create a web. We're trying to create a holistic human being so that when they're grown, they go out into the world a whole person.
Right.
And we're trying to cobble together the pieces, like nature gave them a certain amount, nature and nurture, right? Nature gave them a certain amount, and we're trying to nurture the rest,
Right.
to fill in any gaps and pieces so that when they walk out of our household, they're a whole person. And that's what we're trying to get to. But hey guys, I hope you like this. You just want to do a quick conversation.
Right.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah. Until next time, take care.
Take care.